How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. For those returning, for those that are new, welcome. This is Eddie Star Tarot, and today I'll be doing a reading for the zodiac sign Gemini. You guys, I'm doing this on Saturday, but this is a continuation. The readings are very heavy, especially on Fridays. So I'm doing the other half right now. So Gemini, I'm starting with you guys on this rotation, but this is your Friday spiritual reading, or spiritual Fridays. This is for your evolution or spiritual growth. That's what these videos are meant for, to move you through the ascension process no matter where you're at. And if you're past what I'm talking about, you guys, I say information within these readings that are activating. It might even reactivate some information that you need to go back and study, maybe readers, stuff like that, right? I know I have readers on my channel. I know I got people jocking my shit too. I could see that. But it's all good, you guys. Imitation is a flattery. You guys, let's get started. I am going to start with the story, and then I have my downloads of the lesson I'm trying to learn or trying to teach you guys. And it is a part of the ascension process. So every Friday, I'm going to go through certain parts of the ascension process. Then I'm going to go through concepts, things that I think that will aid and help you guys. Stuff that I've learned along the way, downloads that I've received, knowledge and wisdom that's been bestowed by my ancestors, stuff like that, right? Next week is going to be a good reading, Gemini. I'm going to start talking about communication, and I call it the universal codex. So the different types of ways that we communicate with the other side, whether that be angels, God, the divine, archangels, or for some people, arch. People don't like that I say archangels. Spirit teams, spirit animals, divine animals. We all have different names for all of them, right? But I'm going to talk about this communication in different ways, and then how to evolve it and stuff like that. So that is for next week, Friday. But let's get started. The lighting seems... I think it's right there. Yeah, let's do right there. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the concepts. Okay, so it's called... Oh, you guys, I'm working in two oracles, so I will be pulling oracle today. And I'll be using two different decks. And one of the decks is the White Light Oracle, and the other is the Secret Language of Light. So the concepts today, you guys, is called coming out spiritually, living in your own authenticity, and honoring your truth. And then the last part before I start the card reading is judgment. So the way that I explain it to the other zodiac signs is that sometimes we're in this position, you guys, especially in the beginning, and it's like with anything that we do in life, right? We start to become something different, and it looks different to other people. And a lot of the times, because you've changed, the other people around you don't either, they're attached to that old you, or they don't want to see you change, or they're jealous of you. That's how a lot of the times it comes up. And then sometimes people accept you, so it just depends, right? You have to use your own discernment. And the reason why I bring this up is because I found myself, I say all this stuff, you guys, not from a place of like, I see it in other people. Nah, I went through this stuff, right? So I like to equate it to walking the fence. So Geminis, there is a part, I would say, my journey started when I got sober. So I got sober in January 20th of 2020. I had a long bout and struggle with addiction and alcoholism. I said that in last week's reading. So I finally got brought to my knees, near-death experiences, all that good stuff, right? And I finally got to the place where I just gave up, and I said, you know what? I don't have any more of me. I don't have any more power, right? My dignity was lost at that point. And so I finally got help, and I gave it my all. And so I am 2 years and 3 months sober. But at the 6-month mark of my sobriety, I had a spiritual awakening. And then all this beautiful stuff started to happen, right? Started collecting feathers. As you can see, today I got rewarded by my ancestors with the new either crow or raven feather. I think it's a crow. So my ancestors honored me today, which is amazing. But And then I started with crystals, but everything started out with what I like to call the universal codex, right? For me, it was angel numbers. I started seeing, it's not that I started, but I acknowledged it at this point. I started seeing, or I saw 333, 222, 111. I'm like what we call those stubborn learners, or the type of learners that need to bump your head. It's a difficult process, man. If you are that type of learner too, man, my heart goes out to you. Hey, you guys, some people just watch and then they look and be like, nah, I ain't gonna walk into that bullshit. But not for me. I gotta be like, you know what, I wanna see what that feels like. Let me go bump my head with real quick. Let's see. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I got to this point, you guys, where like, okay, so this is how I learned it. And I'll just say this part because I want to connect with you on the aspect of when my spirituality started and how it started. So I was in my car, I see on the speedometer 33, and then it was the date was showing, it was like the 3rd, so it was like March 3rd of whatever year it was, and then the time was 3:33 on the clock in the middle of the council, and I was going 33 miles an hour, so it was like 33, 333, 333, and then I was like, dude, there's just no way it was that. To me, it got my attention finally. That's how much they had to do for me, right? They had to literally show me. And so I finally started acknowledging it, you guys, and then it started to advance. I started listening to the communication, right? Listening to the angel numbers. And I literally, you guys, became obsessed with it. I realized, I was like, wait a minute, there's something more here. And then from there, you guys, they told me, look up sacred geometry. I'm going to tell you guys something. And at some point, you guys, Fridays are going to be dedicated to just giving you guys concepts, principles, spiritual principles that I've learned, stuff that's going to advance you along in your journey. Because a lot of the times, you guys, they're telling us for reasons. I didn't know sacred geometry was going to help me with my tarot readings, but what they were trying to communicate me, and I forgot to tell the other zodiacs, so bless your hearts, you guys, you got, I'm doing you guys today. So sacred geometry, they were trying to show me that the life experience, the us having this human experience, that it is like a simulation, if you will. It is a place where it could be utilized as a place of communication, right? And they're also showing me that this isn't the end, right? And the reason why I know that is that the earth and everything in it is designed perfectly. It's all designed by geometrical shapes. Sacred geometry is literally the golden ratio. God's designs, when I say God or creator, right? Whoever created this place, it was created perfectly with trees, animals, us, even us. We are created with the golden ratio. We are created with sacred geometry. You know, with all that being said, you're probably like, well, what does that mean? I'm saying it because if you know that this place was created it's created for a purpose, and then you have to start asking the higher questions. Why am I here? What am I doing here? And when you break out of the matrix, you realize, wait a minute, I'm a lot more powerful than I thought I was. And then you start to open your mind space, and that's what I did. But let's get that's for another. I needed to say that because there is a Gemini out there that needs to hear that information, because you guys are going through the same thing for some of the newcomers coming to me. So there was a time period, you guys, where I hid my ability, and I hid my abilities, my talents, and I hid the fact that I was even having this spiritual awakening. I would be like, oh no, I'm just an Alcoholics Anonymous, or you know, I wouldn't say anything because I was embarrassed, right? I didn't want to be judged. And so when I started to kind of like try to say things, people would make fun of me, right? And unfortunately, those people were close to me, you know, friends, family, and stuff like that. I didn't understand till much later, you guys. It's like, and I'll explain this stuff as well to you guys. It's like a lot of people were karmic around me, and I didn't understand even what karmic meant. I didn't know that like loved ones were trying to poke holes in the ship, right? Like trying to sacrifice me. And my story, you guys, is a strange one, Geminis. I'll get to the point when they're now trying to sacrifice me, right? They're trying to scapegoat me. They've stolen from me. It's all in movement still. One day I will get my justice, and I will be able to, I believe that everything that has been stolen from me will be paid back to me. But that's part of my story, and I will tell you guys that eventually as well. So you guys, there is a lot of stuff that I have, experience and wisdom. But there was a time period, okay, so going back to this fence, right? You may find yourself on this fence, teetering on both sides of the fence. But that keeps us in this median, right? Oftentimes I tell people, if you don't want to be spiritual or go down this path, go back to the path that you were at. Staying in the middle is the most daunting and draining shit you can do in the world, because I did it. I wouldn't choose the spiritual path, and I didn't choose going back to the 3D. I would stay in the middle or dip my toes in both. It's exhausting. I tell people too, it's like if you go back to this old path or this old lifestyle, you're going to eventually get tired, and it's going to get to a place, and I equate this back to my journey with alcoholism, right? I would continuously be in this process of, I need to get sober and get help, but I can't deal with the pain. I can't deal with the guilt, the shame. I can't deal with what happened to me as a child, yada, 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 right? So I make excuses and go back into the cycle. But I needed to learn that way. 15 years of that cycle, you guys, that's a generational curse, because many people before me had to go through the same thing. And eventually, I got to a point where the cycle was ending, and I was going to go through the same rotation, and I decided, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I chose this path. The same thing is with your spirituality, you guys. You have the opportunity, the free agency, even though you've been awakened. And I will tell you guys, they say this is, once a cucumber becomes pickled, you can no longer be a cucumber. God has given you the glasses, right? They're giving you the glasses to see differently. So even though you're going to go back to that lifestyle, you're going to see things in a new different way, and you already probably don't fit in, but you're definitely not going to fit in anymore, and you're going to feel that. Eventually you're going to get tired of that path and choose the other side. I implore you guys to listen to the wisdom and just take the path. When I started to come out spiritually, I got ostracized for it. And I'll say it like this, you guys. You're going to learn this the hard way. And I have to rip the Band-Aid for you guys so you guys understand, because people didn't tell me this. I had to learn this the hard way, where I kept going back to people. Because you guys, you have to remember, a lot of the times we don't want to admit things, even about ourselves. Everything that I say about other people was me, is because I employed those same tactics at some point in my life. You have to remember, if you grew up in a family dynamic, it is impossible for you not to start adapting to those lifestyles, right? Whether that's alcoholism, narcissism, depression, anxiety, stress, because they're going through it too, and you're in those close quarters all the time. What I'm trying to say, you guys, is accountability. One of those things that we do in this early stages of ascension is that we have to take 100% accountability for our actions and who we are around, even if those are family members. So I say it like this, you guys. One of the best ways to understand who is about you and who's not about you is you have to set boundaries. Most of us who are light workers, most of us who are chosen, most of us who have a calling on our life have terrible boundaries. We don't have boundaries. And also, it's because the people around us usually have narcissistic tendencies, or they're karmic. They've been training you for a very long time to be like that, to be loose with your boundaries. They've been testing you for a very long time. If you resonate with my channel, you resonate with what I'm saying right now, Geminis. This is all said with the purpose, because I need you to understand your life. All you have to do is start inventorying back. Just think about your past, and you're going to start having key memories like, oh shit, they were doing that, right? That's what happened to me. And I remember, you guys, I got hurt. I was hurt. I was like, dude, I was nice to them. Like, even though I was an addict or an alcoholic, I was hurting myself. I wasn't hurting anybody else, right? Maybe they were mad because I wasn't in people's lives, but like, I just stood away, right? I was like, dude, I would always try to hype people up and show them love. And I was like, how could they do this to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I played the victim. We're going to go through stages like that as well, you guys. But Geminis, getting back to it. Setting boundaries. How do we set boundaries with narcissistic people? I would implore you guys to study how to spot a narcissist. I would implore you the tactics to use with the narcissist, because you're going to have to do that. One of the things that you have to understand is a symbiotic relationship. What is a parasitic relationship? Also, you have to understand the complexities of how harsh it is with a codependent relationship. Half the time, an empath and a narcissist, that is a relationship, right? Codependency or an enabler, it just depends. However you want to say it, it's the same thing. That is the parasite relationship, right? There's one who's giving but is taking more, right? And you have to remember there's two sides to this. You have to take accountability for your side of it. So a lot of times we like to be the martyr, the victim. You can't do that either. You have to acknowledge that at some point. Well, I'll get to that in another reading, but learn techniques like gray rock or gray rocking, I think is what it's called. Go look up. There's a lot of very beautiful content about this, you guys. Most of my relationships, I dealt with people like this because I was calling them in my whole life because it needed it. God, universe, creator was trying to get my attention. That I was surrounded by these people, and they were draining the shit out of me. But when I started to create boundaries, you guys, I call it two waves. The first wave leaves immediately because they can't stand the fact that you're standing up for yourself. This is how you do it, you guys. When they gaslight you, breadcrumb you, if you don't know what these terms are, you have to go. That's why I'm telling you guys, these are activations. So you guys to learn these things. Gaslighting, breadcrumbing, scapegoating, gang stalking. You'll understand these terms are what these people do. It's a narcissist tactic. I started setting boundaries of stop talking to me like that. Stop bringing up my past. You are an alcoholic too. I don't bring up your stuff. Why every time I come around and you ask me questions, I give you information. When I ask you, you give me broad statements and general statements. When you start calling out and identifying things, people don't like it. When you start talking, and they'll say, why do you have attitude? Why are you talking back? Well, you're an alcoholic. You've been an alcoholic for 15 years. You were doing this and that in the back of my house. But I was doing it with you, right? You see how that is? Those are the tactics. So the more that you engage with it, the worse it's going to get. So you can't go off of your past behavior. Your past is your past. You're living in the present moment at this time period. So you have to set those appropriate boundaries. And when you guys get into the comfort of that's standing in your power, you guys. That first wave will go away. The second wave is a little bit smarter in their tactics. They're going to be friendly with you. Those are the true karmics, you guys. Those are the ones who are not on your side, but they're going to act like they are. You're going to have to understand after a while that this is where your intuition and discernment is going to have to get stronger. For me, you guys, I couldn't identify it at first because I identified them as my brothers, my mother, my father. That is my friend. That is my confidant, right? That is my wife, my girlfriend. And unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way where I'm realizing that, oh shit, these people are going to sacrifice me. Like, I wake up, I have a dream of them scheming, right? And that was God's vision to me. As like, dude, you're going to get murdered by these people, right? And that is the serious, and I'll get to you guys to that story in other readings, but eventually I had to get rid of everybody. And I'm talking about everyone, you guys. There was a community of people following me and stuff like that. And my story is a little more dramatic, but this isn't. This is commonplace within people who are, I call chosen, or light workers, or starseeds, people who have a message. Because the shit that I'm talking about, you guys know, it's not normal. People don't talk about this stuff, right? The wisdom, the knowledge, it's ancient. It's very ancient wisdom. You have to be chosen for this stuff. And if you are on my channel, I promise you, Gemini, you are chosen. Let's talk about honoring yourself, standing in your own authenticity. In order to do that, you guys, you had to make the decision to finally come out. What God's trying to do is stages, because you need to get to the next level. God wants you to get to the point where every portion has a different learning method, right? but you're learning through people. So that first stage is talking about releasing those people. The second stage, you guys, is honoring yourself. I promise you, by honoring yourself, that is setting the boundary. When you have to me, you guys, I started wearing the bracelets, right? I started literally, I know people look at me like, dude, what is this dude doing? Like hugging trees after my run, right? Talking in tongues. I will literally read tarot out in public because I had to face my fears. People will look at me like with those strange looks and stuff like that, right? But I needed to be me, honor it, right? So if you are a Reiki master or you're a Reiki, be in Reiki. Go take those classes, as I say. Stand in that power. If you want to meditate, go meditate in nature. You're meant to stand out. You always were someone who stood out. That's why people have been trying to dim your light your whole life. Think about it. Go back. Take an inventory of your life. And I'll give you a promise. This is a promise, you guys. Take an inventory of all the traumatic situations in your life, and I promise you they were meant to teach you a lesson. Now let's get to, so honor every part of your spirituality, whatever that may be. I only say an example. So if you want to be a doula, start acting like a doula, right? We say this, the success mindset is if you want to be a millionaire, you got to be around millionaires. So be in the communities that you need to be in, and you'll start to display those interests, and you'll start having those activations. And the band-aid before we get into the reading, you guys, that I have to rip off for you is that, and this is a huge activation here, you guys, is that you're not going to be able to change anyone's opinion of you. Unfortunately, you guys, nobody in my family saw it the way I saw it. Every one of them made fun of me. And all of my fears that I had about me living in my truth became my reality. Because I knew that they were going to do that deep down inside. Go figure, I'm a psychic, right? Go figure, I'm a tarot reader. I already knew what they were going to do. I just knew, and even subconsciously, I knew what kind of people they were. So when I finally, what I'm telling you guys is this judgment is going to be a reality. But it's not just your people that are close to you. You're going to find this throughout your life, you guys. There's always going to be an oppositional force that's going to tell you not to go after your dream because your dream shifts things. You guys, the light worker, if that's what you resonate with, or a person who comes here, you have a higher energy level. It all goes back to energy. Your energy is stronger than most people. The chosen, you've always had a strong energy. And I'll say it like this. I always tell people that the currency on earth that is the most valuable is not money. Might be secondary, maybe even, to me, it's like sixth place. But I'll tell you this, it is vital because we need it, right, to live, but the energy, the currency, the true currency on earth is energy. That is really what it is, and it's the energy that humans produce, right? And these people, the people that are around you, these karmic people, they are addicted to your energy, Gemini. So you have to understand that. That's why you have to get rid of them because you're not going to be able to grow because your energy is being taken from you, siphoned. We call that energy cord attachment, stuff like that, right? Those are future lessons. So the unfortunate thing is that you're going to receive adversity and judgment. You're going to have to walk through that no matter what, you guys. And I'll tell you this, it hurts. It fucking hurts, man. At the end of the day, when people are trying to scapegoat you, calling you, he's faking it. He wants to get attention, right? He's not psychic. He's on drugs again. Look at him. Why would he even be talking about this stuff, right? But at a point, you guys got to keep going. Your wisdom, your knowledge is undeniable. When I started to, that's the stuff that made me truly stand in my power. So at the end of the day, you guys, you're going to get to the point where you're going to be able to thank these people. These people helped made you grow. And it's going to come full circle. For all of the people that are in my life, they're going to have to come back to me at some point and apologize. There is no doubt about that. There is a point where some of them are going to ask me for help. Some of them are going to ask me to try to bail them out. So know, you guys, everything is a cycle. Everything's running in a spiral, and everything will come back to center point. If you follow your mission, I promise you, it'll happen for you as well. Those are my downloads, and that's my lesson for today. Let's get into the card read. Gemini, Spirit, what do we have for Gemini? What do we have, sir? Awesome. The card that's coming out, you guys, is Ask Your Soul. It's a beautiful card. You notice a lot of these cards have this person who is who's meditating. There's like a different way of meditating. So maybe you guys are concentrating right now on your guys's on your solar plexus. I feel like someone who's on my channel, you guys have a lung. Something's going on with your lung, so you gotta go get your lung checked out. Your left side. That's for someone who's on my channel. Also, yeah, just be careful with the lung on the left side. Okay, so look at, there's levels to it, as you notice, right? When it says ask your soul, and we have the heart as well. We always call this stuff like the heart space, right? Ask your heart, and you'll understand a higher level. When you're asking your soul, we talk about this in the aspect of your higher self, or we talk about this as the aspect of God. We all have different ways that we say this, right? There's many different ways. Remember this. What if we all of us got wiped out, and you say in another 100 years a whole new set of people will come here, and they see some of the writings that we have, and you think about even when we pass on knowledge, how it changes and shifts, right? We're always going to have a new variation of old wisdom. All of it, all the information that we have is energetic. It is literally in the ethers. So every human being, we don't need the books. The books, these cards, it's like the example of my cards. The cards don't have power. They're pictures, but these pictures ignite my brain. I'm the one who has I'm the conduit. Our mind is the conduit. Every human being is a reader, whether they know it or not. Some of us have like, for myself, you guys, I've had these skill sets as a kid, right? But I've had situations in my life where I've been able to tune in a lot deeper. And that's because of the experiences that I've had, right? I had to deal with drug addicts, alcoholics my whole life, people abusing me, right? I had to understand criminology, right? I got to understand body language, tics. I had to understand just the smallest variations of people's the way that they look at you, the way that they talk. I had to look deeper, right? All of those skill sets had taught me how to be a better reader, and I just didn't know it yet, right? I think in the future I'm an excellent profiler, man. I'll say it like that. But I say that, you guys, because when we honor ourselves and acknowledge who we are, there's things that you've had your whole life that you thought were a detriment to you. For me, when I go into a room, a lot of the times it's overwhelming. I like equating it back to like Sherlock Holmes in the movie. He's like with Robert Downer Jr. He says his curse and his blessing is the fact that he sees everything, and it's daunting sometimes, because a lot of the times I notice that there's a majority of people who are in their ego or in their pride, or I can pick up on auras too. So it's like, I notice that people aren't coming from, a lot of times I sense the fear in other people. I sense them going through their own struggles, right? And it's very difficult to watch too. So I say all this stuff, you guys, because it's meant to come up. Geminis, you might be having the same issues, right? This comes from the aspect that there is something higher. We're having two different experiences. Remember when I was talking about sacred geometry, and that this place is a place that we're visiting? This is a meaning of that. And you guys, there's like science behind this shit too. That we're in two different places, maybe even multiple places at once. But you have to think about this. If you understand the situation of, if you're in a situation that, and we'll say it like this, the law of vibration. Everything's vibrating, right? That goes without saying. It's a universal law. And I told you, everything is energy, and energy never dies. Energy's only, right now, our energy shifted into this experience. Where do you think you go when you go to sleep? Spirit realm, right? Well, what is the spirit realm? Spirit realm could be just another name for heaven or the ethers. Those are just names, right? But you are closer to source than you think. That's why a lot of the times when we get that information of acknowledge your higher self. If you honor thyself, you will honor the high self. I'm trying to get you guys to think of that this place that you're visiting right now is a test. It is for you to grow spiritually. It's evolutionary. A lot of times we get sucked into the matrix, the 3D things, 3D of things. You're meant to have fun. You're meant to enjoy it. But this today is about spirituality, right? So I want you to know that when we think of something like Creator or God, depending on however you look at the universe, he seems to have a rule or a system to him, right? He wants you to heal yourself. He wants you to let go of the pain and anguish, like I said, and then he wants you guys to get rid of the exterior that resembles that interior, right? A lot of the times people are mirroring us because it has to start with us, the healing, and then we understand that the people around us need to go. And once that happens, then we get to this next level, right, where we're helping other people. But we can't fill up other people's cups until we fill up our own. That is the healthy process that he wants us to be in. And then he starts giving these beautiful principles and teachings, right? And it doesn't matter where you came from. A lot of times people think I'm knocking religion, but I'm not, man. Most of my teachings come from Yeshua, Jesus. Some come from Paul, these different disciples, Matthew, right? I say all that to just let you know is that when we ask our soul, that's when they say when you meditate, and we already have the answers. You just need to meditate on the answer. And you ask yourself, does this feel right? Is this what is my truth? And if it's not your truth, it won't feel good. You will doubt it. If it is your truth, you'll resonate with it right away. I'm going to read the book reading for you guys. And then we're going to get into the next deck. You guys, you have to remember this too. When I get going, like I'm dropping, literally I'm dropping just gems, gem after gem after gem. So like, go figure, Gemini gem. I drop this wisdom, and a lot of it's ancient as well, you guys. But you're not going to understand all of it right away, and not all of it's going to resonate. But I'm planting the seed, and when you guys get to a point when you accept it, it's going to be there, right? And eventually it's going to grow. So just know that like not all of this is going to resonate with you. It won't. It's not meant to that anyways. But if it is, I'm glad for you. But I just want to let you guys know that. Anyways, it says, wise questions create wise answers. Something you asked for soon will turn up in your life. Every time you request something, you plant a seed in your quantum field or vibrational reality. Didn't I just say that right now? That's awesome. It says, where it begins to grow and move towards you. This is how we create and expand consciousness. Asking is the first step in any creation. It only needs to be about 10% of the creative process, but somehow most of us make it about 90%. If we don't see any evidence of our desires are coming into our existence, we keep asking. This holds us in a place where the answers can't be heard. What you desire is on its way. You only need to ask once. It doesn't matter whether it is loud or in your mind, because the universe interprets vibrations, not words. Going back to it, right? I'm going to call this reading, let me write it down real quick. Vibrations. Vibrational reality. Ooh, I like it. You guys, so that's interesting that it said, right? Because oftentimes I'll be asking God 1,000 different times in 1,000 different ways. I'll be manifesting the same thing like 1 billion different ways. And it just dawned on me what it just said. It's like, you only need to ask me once. It only needs to be 10% of the process. The other process is you need to sit and wait for the answers. Remember I just told you about meditating? And if we ask our soul, Geminis, this reading equates to me as well. I understand it, that it's meant for me as well. 10% of that is asking. The other percent of us is allowing us to quiet our mind enough to understand the answers that are in front of us. So And next week I'm going to talk about communication. There's ways that the angels or our guides are guiding us to that manifestation. A lot of the times it's because what we're calling in, we don't match the frequency. So our think of it like this, is energy. But again, if this is your manifestation, it's vibrating at a higher level. You need to raise your vibration to it to match it, and then it will come into your reality. It just told you it's the law of attraction, right? We set our intentions out into the universe, and we're waiting for God to answer our prayer. It's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful process, but we have to get ourselves to the point where we're meeting that vibrational. We have to be a vibrational match to it. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's Bob Proctor's beautiful teachings. On the bottom of the deck, before I move into the other one, we did have remembrance, and someone needs to hear this. You guys are probably working with Archangel Metatron, and you guys are seeing a lot of 11s. For the people that are working with Archangel Metatron, there's a book. I'm going to show you the book. Archangel Metatron, you guys, is powerful. So if you've been getting the inclination, you've probably been seeing 1111, or maybe you've been receiving white feathers. But it's called Metatron by Rose Van Inden, and it's called Invoking the Angel of God's Presence. There are downloads after downloads after downloads within this book. There's meditations. So Rose Vanden is a channeler, and she channels Archangel Metatron, and then she had her community of spiritual people. She had everyone send in questions for Metatron, and Metatron answers them. And honestly, guys, when I read it, it just activated me so much. And I read this thing maybe 4 or 5 times a month, because I get something new from it every time. So that's how powerful these books are. So go check this one out. I got it in a spiritual shop. But yeah, go check this book out. But you might be seeing Archangel Metatron. That's for someone who needs to hear it, Gemini. And also remembrance. I feel like for some of you guys would get a lot from past life regression. I'm channeling right now. Past life regression, you are a channeler. Maybe even you have a power where you can channel, you ever see those channelers that who channel like aliens and stuff like that? I feel like you guys have that power. Or maybe you even channel the divine, like you can hear God's voice. If you hear God's voice, you'll know what it is. It sounds like thunder, and it's like a boom sound. You resonate with ancient wisdom, sacred knowledge. So you guys, you are resonating with what I'm putting out right now. Also, you'll get a lot from past life regression, and know that there's another book that I'm Many Lives, Many Matters, or what is it called? Many Lives, Many Matters. It's a guy who talks about past life regression. He's like one of the pioneers at this time period. He's an older man now, but I forget the name of his actual name. But if you put in past life regression, you're going to find him eventually. He does like a meditation. He's an old man. He sits on his chair. He's a really cool guy. But you're also remembering some things that happened to you probably within your childhood. I might have activated that for you. It needs to come up. Honor every part of that process. I'm going to leave that there for you guys, and I'm going to get into the White Light Oracle, and then we're going to call it a reading, you guys. And I will read from the book from there as well, because Anna Fairchild, the author, this deck is powerful, you guys. Spirit, what do we have for Gemini for ending messages? Gemini, every time I'm in your guys' energy, I understand that you guys are very, very powerful psychics. When you guys one of the big issues about the Gemini collective, or I feel like the Zodiac, is that you guys are in this process where you guys are seeing 333 as well. And the Tiger, this is your year for change. This is your year as well. What was I going to say right now? Oh, when you guys, as a collective, I feel like for the Geminis, you guys have to balance, all of us have to, but for you guys especially, balancing out your dark and light attributes, doing the shadow work, right? One of those things is called taking 100% accountability. When you guys do that, you guys are going to be in your power, and the psychic gifts that you have are freaking phenomenal. Look at the igniting from here. You're seeing 22, 11, and 22. Those numbers build off of each other. They're master numbers. 22 is the master builder number. That's Archangel Raphael. I think it's Raphael. It says, I don't know how to say this. Saf or. Let's see what it says. You guys are healers. You bring in, you guys just, the fact that your presence is here on earth, you bring a loving vibration already. And when you guys start to raise your consciousness, your level, you're going to bring the love vibration here, and you're gonna ground it into the universe, or from the universe or the ethers into the earth. You guys help by just being here. It says, a way through the struggle has already been created for you, and you're being led onto the path. Your authentic soul path may include recognition and acclaim, notable success and admiration. You guys are stars. You're meant to shine. As like I told you, you stood out for a reason. You probably resonate with the black sheep story, or the black sheep. You've been ostracized and suppressed, and most of the time they did that because they thought they wanted to diminish your light. But those things are meant to empower you guys. You'll get to that point in your process. It says, be grateful, but do not be dazzled or distracted by such experiences. Focus on what connects you to your heart and grounds you into the simplicity of spiritual truth, which is the practice of love, kindness, and peace. This will allow for successful progress in the material world without disturbing the sanctity of your soul. What I got from that initial part is like, though we're going to be stars and stuff like that, and it's like, to me, more of a superficial thing. They don't want you to get distracted with those things. Take the next indicated step. Take the step that you in your heart know that you need to take next. Don't try to envision that far into the future. And sometimes that with the concept of vanity and stuff like that stuff brings our vibrations down. That's what I feel like it was trying to say. It says, in the mysticism of Kabbalah, if you guys don't know what Kabbalah is, go look up. There's a book called the Kabbalah, and it's mystics, and it's I can't explain to you how many activations you'll get by just reading that book, or even reading surface knowledge with it. It says, in Saf Ar is the first and truest light. It emerges from the absolute, which is pure emptiness, beyond all characteristics, phenomena, and form. The capacity to create something from apparently nothing is one of the definitions of magic. Ayin Saf is the universe pulling rabbits out of hats on a cosmic scale, because of pulling rabbits at your ass. It says, because a spiritual light emerges from spaciousness of infinite potentiality. Ooh, I love it. Dude, this book is like word porn. It is imbued with endless creativity, resourcefulness, and spontaneous responsiveness. Whatever is needed is made manifest, provided to the receptive heart, and will benefit all beings. That is your energy, you guys. Receptivity is the key to unlocking the white light magic of the spirit. When we are open to it, surrendered to its wisdom, are willing to take place, that wisdom above our own opinions, we are capable of receiving and benefiting from it. If we are trying to dictate its course, to contrive and control it to meet our needs as we think they should be met, then we are not being receptive. The path of control or dominance is regressive. It is not sacred magic, and it's not of the spirit. Ayin Saf Ar illustrates the ways of sacred soul magic that creates healing and deep fulfillment. It recognizes that there's a problem, yet does not dwell on nor evoke toxic mind games of blame and shame. They focus on solutions. Underneath fancy words, outlandish claims, and complex doctrines, the light of spirit recognized by its effect. Genuine spiritual connection helps us outgrow our problems. Ego will tell you a situation is too complicated or someone else is to blame. Or, if you could just change this one thing, healing would happen. But then you're in your ego and you're not spiritually effective. You will be locked in suffering and confusion. As a human being, you're able to use your free will as you choose. You can focus on the negative and distance yourself from the light. Refuse to trust and insist you always know best. You can choose to feel unappreciated, betrayed, or afraid when life does its unpredictable dance. Spirit will love you and seek to help you even when you use free will in such a way. At any time, you can choose to say enough of that misery and open your heart to connect with the higher creative and healing intelligence of the light. No matter how much our wounded minds or broken hearts may believe a situation can't be healed, Ayin Soph is always there. It reminds us that whether we can see it or not, there is a spiritual path through all troubles. The path can be so beautiful we will become profoundly grateful for the struggle which caused us to grow, even if we never wish to repeat the experience. Acknowledgement is the beginning of healing. I've been saying this all day, you guys. I love how Spirit picks just the right card and just the right message. And it piggybacks off of what I was saying primarily. If something isn't quite right, be kind and wise enough to admit it. Then seek out the genuine light, which will evoke peace in your heart. Have the courage and trust to let go of approaches that will not lead anywhere worth going. As you open yourself to what is, even the unexpectedly difficult twists of fate, you will become ever closer to the radiant grace of luminous clarity, which is reassuring you, healing you, guiding and loving you. That's awesome. Talking, and my end messages for you guys is honoring the process. And I explained it in the beginning. One of the issues, or one of the hard parts about this, you guys, is the fact that we have to take accountability. And it's not about shifting blame or playing victim. Even though if that's what you're doing or going to step into, it's okay, because there's a process where I was in pain and I wanted to play the victim. I was like, I want to blame these people. I want revenge. Like, I went through all those, spiritual burp. I went through all those different facets, right, of feelings and emotions. Well, when I got to the point where I like healed enough where I could start taking accountability. And one of the difficult parts, you guys, is we realize that we take on those attributes of the people that hurt us. We just don't see things clearly in ourselves. And the more effectively you guys transition into this aspect of taking inventory on yourself, you start to transition into a higher mindset, man. That's why I always say it's good at least weekly to look at yourself. Because Spirit's always trying to show you what needs change, right? Or what are you doing that's not a benefit to you? And they'll wait for a while, right? They're always monitoring us. They want to help us through this journey, right? I am going to leave you guys there. There's a lot of information, and I know it's a long reading. Most people are probably not even going to go this far, but Gemini, has been a great reading. I got mad love for you guys, and you guys are well on your way. I'm going to leave the reading there. You guys check out next week's reading. Like I said before, it's going to be about the Universal Codex, as I call it, communication with God. And reciprocate the energy, guys. I want this channel to grow so other people will see it. So subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you did like it, and I'll catch you guys today or tomorrow.